If you're an Uber driver in Denver, Colorado, then it's important to understand the market because not knowing the ways of where to drive and when to drive can lead to burning out and wasting your time, and more importantly, your money. So in today's video, let's talk about what you need to know for driving for Uber in Denver, Colorado. Hey everybody, it's Kian with the Rideshare Guy, that's pronounced Kian, and today we are going to give you a comprehensive breakdown and guide on driving for Uber in Denver. Now, I've actually got some great news for Uber drivers in Denver because Uber requires insurance to drive on the app. We've turned to Voom to offer our drivers insurance specifically designed for rideshare and delivery drivers. And Voom has recently launched in the Denver market, meaning you no longer have to wait to save up to 60% on your car insurance. Now let's talk the absolute basics for driving for Uber in Denver. The requirements to be an Uber driver for Denver are the same as most other states, where you need a vehicle less than 15 years old and in fully working condition, and must have at least 1 year of driving experience or 3 years of driving experience if you're under 25 like me. With that out of the way, let's talk about the best hotspots to make the most money in Denver, Colorado. Starting with Boulder, Colorado. Boulder is a university city with a lot of short trips and a lot of high tips, but it fills up with drivers pretty quickly, meaning you are going to have a lot of supply, and that will probably even out with the demand, so keep that in mind. The western suburbs of Denver are busier, and the eastern suburbs are less consistent generally, but you can usually pick up a ride from one of the malls or larger hotels to get back into the city of Denver. And of course, we have to talk about a lot of the big boy hotspots in Denver, like Ball Arena, which, if you don't know, is home to the Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, and many concerts. But it gets very, very crowded. Consider dropping passengers off like half a block away from the venues to avoid getting stuck. Coors Field is generally good before and after baseball games, and Empower Field at Mile High is generally really good, but you must time it right. Arriving before the event ends usually resolves in you just getting stuck in place for a very long time. Arrive slightly after the events end, grab the stragglers, and avoid the traffic to have the most success. And of course, we have to talk about downtown. If you time it right in the later hours of night, your clientele will mostly be drunk passengers, but it'll be consistent nonetheless. Okay, so now that you know where we recommend you go, let's give you some extra tips to ensure you're making the most of your time driving. Tip number 1, look for weekends with multiple events. Focus your time on the weekends where there are 3 or more large events that are happening on areas with outdoor festivals and smaller gatherings that are going to give you a lot of surge pay. Tip number 2, don't focus on the surge map. Look, it may have been effective in pre-2022 years, but automatically taking rides in like the red surges on the Uber map just isn't effective any longer. A lot of rides will give you surge and will make it enticing for you, but just because a ride has surge on it doesn't automatically make it better. Tip number 3, don't focus exclusively on downtown. Now look, many drivers assume downtown is where they'll make the most money, and that makes sense because this is where the most people are. However, the best way of getting rides where you are is making sure you're parked where other drivers aren't. Find the good suburbs that need drivers. That's your sweet spot. You'll save yourself the headache for fighting for rides and leaving the suburbs empty with plenty of requests waiting for them. You won't have to fight traffic or be stuck with one ride to an event. And to be honest, the only exception to this rule is if you're a night owl. If you like the late night rides, sit downtown when the events end, and event goers will need a ride home while the people in the suburbs are fast asleep, and you will rack in that nice cash moolah. Tip number 4, and whilst we have listed 6 tips, they're in no specific order, but I have to say this is probably going to be the most important one for you. Avoid rush hour at all costs. Rush hour traffic in Denver is entirely gridlocked. Morning and evening commutes during the week can take literally double the necessary time, if not longer. Friday afternoons are even worse, and that's when most people arrive and depart from Denver, unfortunately. If you drive during those times, it's not completely off the tables. Just stick to the suburbs and avoid the major highways. During all other times, though, take advantage of the suburb to downtown trips. That's where the money is. And kind of attached to this, don't focus on the mileage too much, but more specifically on the time the trip will actually take you. Many trips with long mileage don't take as long as you'd think because they're just minutes off of the highway, but shorter trips with limited routes and congested streets can take way longer and pay significantly less. Get to know the map in your area and which trips are going to make the most of your time and your mileage. Tip number 5, be careful on the holidays. Denver has a lot of non-local travelers. These people often leave during the holidays, making it less than profitable to drive for Uber during these times. And there's no real rhyme or reason for this, so you just have to get a feel for each holiday as they approach. Thanksgiving week is typically dead for Uber drivers, surprisingly, even if large events occur. With most people traveling away from Denver, there isn't a large ride demand during Thanksgiving. Tip number 6, be willing to take the long rides. Don't assume that longer rides just aren't worth it because they're longer. Sometimes the shorter rides around downtown only pay you $5 or $6, requiring you to take multiple short rides to equal the pay for 1 or 2 longer rides. The key is knowing when the longer rides are actually worth it. Usually, the better offers come when demand is at its absolute highest. This is when it makes sense to take the long rides and forego the grueling shorter trips that could take longer due to heavy traffic. Sometimes it even makes sense to ignore the Quest offers, encouraging drivers to take shorter trips to earn a bonus that probably wouldn't even equal what you're going to make on a few of these $40 to $50 long trips. Perfecting your timing for this method takes some practice and surge map studying. If you chase the surges, you'll waste your time and money. Instead, wait for the late night peak pay rides at 2 to 2:15 a.m. and take the trips out of town paying much higher rates, sometimes as much as a single dollar per minute. If you haven't gotten anything from those last 6 tips, it kind of follows the fundamental 3 Ps that we have on the Rideshare Guy: patience, positioning, and planning. Speaking of which, now that we've discussed where to drive, it's also important to know when to drive. And I'm not going to take up too much of your time to explain this, as it's quite detailed. Instead, I've got this graphic to show you what I mean. Let's highlight some important things about each part of the week. Your best time on Fridays is 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. when the nightlife kicks up, the supply decreases, and people need rides home. You can't really go wrong from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. on Saturdays, and there is a steady run of overnight trips of drunk people who just can't drive, and good on them for calling Ubers. Sundays are going to be the most unpredictable for you. There are more requests during the tourist seasons, usually from June to August. This is usually the day that longer rides pay the most, which won't help you to complete your weekend quests, but actually may pay better than those overall anyways. As for Monday through Thursday, they share similar supply and demand to Fridays, but are just slightly slower. The same rules apply for the 3 or more large event venue surges, but the demand is usually gone by midnight instead of carrying out to 2 a.m. So with all of this information gathered, it begs the question, how much can Uber drivers actually make in Denver? Well, this video is actually inspired by an article on the Rideshare Guy from Aaron Lavender, who's an experienced Uber driver with over 4,000 trips under his belt. So we'll leave a link to that article below, but because of his deep understanding of the Denver market, he's consistently making $40 an hour and anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a week, especially with the weather getting warmer in the coming months. However, this has come at a cost, that cost being his weekend nights and afternoons. So if you're newer to the Denver market or are struggling to understand the market patterns, then you should expect to make around $20 to $25 an hour, so just keep that in mind if you're starting out in Denver. Overall, there is definitely potential to drive for Uber in Denver in 2024. However, if you intend on doing it full-time, keep in mind that planning your life around the events and surges is a necessity, which is easier said than done for most drivers. Your best case scenario is driving part-time whilst focusing on busier times in the market. Always remember to have backup plans in mind too, especially if you aim to take on the Denver market full-time, and with DoorDash, Lyft, Instacart, and many, many more options, you've got lots of money-making potential to consider if you're a gig driver in Denver in 2024. But let us know in the comments below, what do you think about driving for Uber in Denver? Make sure you're subscribed to the Rideshare Guy, and if you'd like to see more videos from me personally, check out my YouTube channel, Kian, linked below, or better yet, check out that video over there where I go over 3 mistakes that new Uber drivers are making in 2024. And I made all 3 of the mistakes I listed in that video myself starting out, so don't feel too bad. And with all that said, that's going to be it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and stay cool.